Hello everyone, welcome back to Medico Pharma lecture once again. Today we are going to start with drug metabolism, which is very important and interesting chapter in pharmacology. Okay, so here what you have to do is try to understand the content, okay, just like a story. Okay, it will be fun over here, and I will just explain it in a easy way as much as possible from my side. Okay, suppose there is a drug, okay, which has been administered to a biological system or a human body. Okay, so what it will do, it will show some biological response or biological effect. Okay, so once the drug has shown this biological effect or its work has been over, the drug has to be removed out from our body. Okay, this is what a normal body or biological system will do to the drug. Okay, so just for example, just suppose that a friend or a guest has arrived to your home. Okay, once he has done with the work for which he has come, he has to leave your home. Okay, suppose your friend is denying to leave or he's trying to stay permanently to your apartment. Now you just imagine what type of problems you are going to face, because a guest is good for few days staying in your home, not permanently. Okay, so similarly, a drug has come to your body system as a guest, and once its work has been over, it has to leave our body system. Okay, and for this the most easy way of excretion is via urine. Okay, so it means the drug has to be water soluble if it want to go via urine. Okay, and we also know that only highly polar molecules are water soluble. It means our drug has to be highly polar if it want to live via urine. Okay, but the problem is that most of drugs are not polar or less polar, that is not water soluble. Are you getting? So here is the actual problem. So these are like the guests who don't want to leave because they are not water soluble, so they will try to stay in our body. Okay, so I will put one cross mark over here. It means they are not going to excrete out. So our body system do some engineering to change the drug. What it will do, it will convert non-polar or less polar drug into highly polar drug by adding some polar functional groups or negatively charged group, etc. Okay, this modification can happen in single step or multiple step by help of various enzymes. Okay, this will result into highly polar and water soluble drug which can easily get excreted outside. This conversion or this modification or this alteration of drug is called as drug metabolism. Did you understand? Now we will mention a note that a non-polar or less polar drug is transformed into highly polar drug, and since the transformation is taking place or happening in the biological system, this process is also known as biotransformation, where bio stand for biological system. Okay, so we can call drug metabolism or biotransformation, both are the same thing. Okay, so far whatever we have understood, we are going to pile it up and draft a definition. Okay, you can draft a definition in your own words. Okay, so now I will define it as a series of biochemical reaction in which a non-polar or less polar drug is changed into highly polar molecule by our biological system so that it can become water soluble and get excreted out from our body is collectively called as drug metabolism. Okay, and the product of and the product of metabolic reaction is called as metabolites. Okay, now we will discuss about site of drug metabolism. It means the organ in which the metabolism will takes place. Okay, every biological tissue has some ability to metabolize drug to some extent. Okay, however, a smooth endoplasmic reticulum of liver is the most and primary site for drug metabolism. Okay, anyway, there are other organs which are also involved in drug metabolism. Okay, they are lungs, kidney, blood plasma, epithelial cells of GIT, especially that of intestine, okay, and skin. Now the question is, why liver is primary site for drug metabolism? What are the reasons? So there are many reasons behind this. Okay, the first reason is that it is a large organ. Okay, it is the second largest organ of the body after the skin. Okay, second one is it is highly perfused. Since it is highly perfused, more quantity of drug will go to the liver and metabolism will take place faster. Third point is first organ perfused by chemicals absorbed from GIT. Most of our drugs are taken from oral route and they will pass through GIT, and from GIT they will be absorbed and directly go to the liver. Okay, that is the reason drug metabolism will takes place more in the liver. Okay, next one is high concentration of drug metabolizing enzyme systems are available in liver. Okay, due to these reasons the liver is primary site of drug metabolism. Now we will start with phases of drug metabolism. Here you have to understand it properly and clearly. Okay, so suppose there are four different drugs A, B, C and D. Okay, drug A is non-polar because it does not have any polar functional group. Okay, drug B is having polar functional group OH, but it is hidden inside the molecule. That's why it behave as a non-polar drug. Coming to drug C, it is having a OH group which is a polar group and it is a less polar molecule. Now coming to drug D, which is having many polar functional group, along with that it poses negative charge. Okay, so it is a highly polar molecule or drug. Okay, now we will discuss about drug A and drug B because both are similar in the sense they both behave as a non-polar. Okay, now during drug metabolism it has been observed that a polar functional group like OH, NH2, SH, etc. will be added to the drugs like A, which do not have any polar functional group in their structure. Are you getting? Okay. However, in drugs like B, where polar functional groups are present but they are hidden or masked. Okay. So in this case, demasking or unmasking of that polar functional group is taking place. Okay, till there you have understood? Okay, so this process of addition of polar functional group or unmasking or demasking of polar functional group like OH, NH2, SH etc. is collectively called as functionalization. Are you getting why we call this functionalization? Because here a polar functional group is added or unmasked. That is why it is called as functionalization. Did you understand? Okay. And since this process is taking place at the beginning or at the initial phase of drug metabolism, it is also called as phase 1 reaction. Understood? Okay. Now, these products obtained from phase 1 reaction are called as phase 1 metabolites. Okay, did you understand? In these metabolites, thus produced polar functional group will behave as a handle, okay, to which a highly polar endogenous substance with multiple polar functional groups and charge will bind and make these metabolites, phase 1 metabolites, highly polar. It means make it water soluble. Are you getting? So here with A it is binding and with B it is also binding. Okay. So here that polar functional group which was added in phase 1 is behaving as a handle. Okay. Now coming to drug C, here already OH was there. It was already the OH was there. So that's why here directly this endogenous substrate can bind, okay, and make it highly polar. So these products, whatever products are produced from drug A or drug B or drug C, these are highly polar, water soluble and can easily pass via urine and excreted out. Okay. Now here endogenous substrate means a highly polar molecule made up of carbohydrate or amino acid and originate from within the tissue or cell and not coming from outside sources. So that is why it is called as endogenous substrate. Now during this step, since an endogenous substrate is conjugated with phase 1 metabolite or drugs like C, that is why we call this reaction as conjugation reaction. Did you understand why we call this as a conjugation reaction? Okay. And since it is happening in second step, we call this reaction also as phase 2 reaction. Understood? Okay. Now the end products of drug metabolism are called as phase 2 metabolites or simply metabolites. Okay. Till now what we have understood is that the purpose of phase 1 reaction is to introduce a polar functional group into a drug molecule. But drugs like C already have polar functional group in their molecule. That is why drug like C don't need phase 1 reaction. Okay, so phase 1 reaction is not required for drug like C. Okay, now coming to drug like D, which is having lots of polar functional group along with the charge upon their molecule. So these type of drugs are easily soluble, water soluble, and they can excrete out via urine. So these type of drugs do not need any drug metabolism. But the problem is that very few drugs are there which will come under this category. Okay. Now I hope you have understood everything regarding phases of drug metabolism. Okay. Now we will summarize all those information and write down to a place in a note form. Now we will start with definition of phase 1 reaction and we are going to write whatever we have understood. Okay. So addition of a polar functional group or unmasking or demasking of a polar functional group in a drug molecule by the biological system or the body is collectively called as functionalization or phase 1 reaction. Now there are alternative names, okay, like functionalization. It is also called as non-synthetic reaction. Okay, now coming to the notes. Okay, so phase 1 metabolites may be active or inactive. It means it may show pharmacological action or may not show any pharmacological action. Okay, now examples of phase 1 reactions are oxidation, reduction, and or hydrolysis. Okay, now coming to phase 2 reaction. Okay, so we will see the definition. So conjugation of the drug or phase 1 metabolites with an endogenous substrate generally derived from carbohydrate or amino acid to form highly polar organic acids which can be easily excreted in urine, or bile, are collectively called as conjugation or phase 2 reaction. You can write in your own language or own words. Synonyms are conjugation or synthetic reaction. It is also called as synthetic reaction. Okay, now we'll mention a note. So phase 2 metabolites are inactive, okay, generally do not show any pharmacological action except few drugs such as glucuronide conjugate of morphine and sulfate conjugate of minoxidil. Okay, they will show pharmacological action. Okay, but generally they are inactive, means phase 2 metabolites are inactive. Now examples of reactions are glucuronide conjugation and sulfate conjugation, acetylation, etc. There are others also like glycine conjugation, purine conjugation, etc. Now we will discuss about end products of drug metabolism. Okay, so drug metabolism results into three type of end products. Okay, so the first one is inactivation. Second one is active metabolites from an active drug, and the third one is activation of inactive drug. Okay, did you got? Now we will discuss about inactivation. Okay, so the most drug and their active metabolites become inactive or less active. What does it mean? It means if our drug is active and once the drug will get metabolized, the metabolite which we are going to get after metabolism will be of no use. It means it will not show any pharmacological action, or if it is showing pharmacological action, that will be of no therapeutic value. Are you getting? Okay, so examples of such drugs are ibuprofen, paracetamol, lidocaine, propanolol, chloramphenicol, etc. Okay, now coming to active metabolite from an active drug. Okay, so many active drugs result into one or more active metabolites. What does it mean? It means our drug is active and after metabolism it is still producing active metabolites. It may be one or maybe more metabolites. Okay, so example of such drugs are like here active drugs and active metabolites. So for morphine 6 glucuronide, allopurinol, alloxanthine, digoxin is the metabolite, active metabolite. For codeine, morphine is the active metabolite, amitriptyline, nortriptyline is the metabolite. Understood? Okay. Now coming to activation of inactive drug. So few drugs are inactive as such and need to metabolize to one or more active form. Such drugs are called as prodrugs. What does it mean? It means our drug is inactive. It is not going to show any pharmacological action, but once it will get metabolized, its metabolic product will show the pharmacological action. Are you getting? So such type of drugs are called as prodrug. Now prodrugs are more stable, better bioavailability or other desirable pharmacokinetic properties. Okay. Prodrugs will show less side effect and toxicity. Okay. Some of the prodrugs are activated selectively at the site of action, which is very good. Okay. So there are certain examples of prodrugs and their active forms. Okay. So levodopa is a prodrug whose active form is dopamine. Enalapril is a drug whose active metabolite is enalaprillate. Okay. Prednisone is a prodrug whose active form is prednisolone. Okay. Now we will discuss about problems related with lipid soluble drugs. It means why lipid soluble drugs are bad guest for our body, so that they will not go outside so easily. Okay. So suppose this is a cell enclosed by a cell membrane. This cell membrane is also working as a hydrophilic permeability barrier. Okay. So what does it mean? It means suppose there is a lipid soluble drug. Okay. This lipid soluble drug can easily cross cell membrane. Okay. And similarly there is another drug which is water soluble. Okay. So this water soluble drug cannot move inside the cell as like lipid soluble drug. Okay. So for this type of drugs there is a specific type of transporter. Okay. As we know that the lipid soluble drugs can freely diffuse across these barriers and not be controlled, and organism therefore cannot exclude lipid soluble xenobiotics or drugs using membrane barriers. Did you got? Okay. But in contrast, polar compounds cannot diffuse across cell membrane. Okay. And the uptake of useful molecules is mediated through transport proteins that specifically select substrate from the extracellular matrix. Okay. So this selective uptake means most hydrophilic molecules cannot enter cells, since they are not recognized by specific transporters and hence excreted out. Are you getting? Now if you will see here, this is a diagram of a nephron. Okay. So in this nephron, if there is a lipid soluble drug, okay, so this lipid soluble drug easily reabsorbed via renal tubules and hence renal excretion will be of no use. Okay. So tubular reabsorption will be there for this type of drug. Okay. Now suppose there is another drug which is hydrophilic. Okay. So if it is hydrophilic or water soluble drug, then it cannot be reabsorbed in the renal tubules and hence excreted in urine. Okay. Hence in the case of hydrophilic drugs there will be no tubular reabsorption, whereas in the first case, that is in the lipid soluble drug, there will be tubular reabsorption. Okay. That is why the drug will not get excreted outside. With this we came to the end of this lecture, and notes are available in our Facebook group. Okay. So kindly visit there. The next lecture will be on phase 1 and phase 2 reaction as well as enzyme induction and inhibition. Along with, we will also discuss about factors affecting drug metabolism. Okay, thanks for watching us. Kindly subscribe our channel. Please press bell icon and provide your feedback so that we can improve further. Thank you very much.